Hey everybody, you're watching Edified Productions, and today I have a little video on the Nikon 16mm f2.8 AIS fisheye. The other day I got this, and it's my first fisheye lens, and I have absolutely fallen in love with the fisheye look. I originally just bought it for car interiors, but after spending an evening at the lake, which I'll throw up some photos now that I got, I'm going to use it for a lot more mild portraiture and a lot of landscape stuff. I was not expecting how much I was going to love the look of a fisheye. And yeah, I've fallen in love with this little AIS fisheye. It's a neat little lens. It takes these rear bayonet filters, which mount similar to how you would mount lens on a camera. It's just a little bayonet mount. And I actually plan on making my own polarizer filters for it, which I know polarizers on super wide lenses make the sky look weird on a bright blue day, but as you can see in the photos I tossed up, that's not really going to be a problem for me. I just want the really cool aesthetic that the polarizer gives water. Today, I'm going to be doing a quick... Essentially, I'm just going to clean out all the little crevices in the lens that are a little dirty at the moment, and I'm going to re-grease the focus ring because, as you can see, it is a very, very short throw focus ring, and I prefer really heavy rings, especially when they're short throw like this. So I'm going to be making the ring extra, extra heavy, and as you can hear, it's a very, very dry ring. It almost feels like there's nothing there, which I mean, some people really like. I don't. For those of you who don't really grasp the concept of how wide a 16mm fisheye is, it's a lot wider than just a 16mm lens, plain and simple. This fisheye actually has a 180-degree diagonal field of view. So to really hammer home the point of how this looks, I'm going to compare it to what is currently on my camera, the 35mm, this 20mm, and then I'll put the 16 on there. So let me switch the lenses here. All right, so now you can see how wide a 20mm is. You can see about out to here, about out to here. You can almost see my video light, but not quite. Now let's go to the 16mm. As you can see, much, much wider than the 20, especially in the corners where out to here you can actually see the curtain that's behind my camera. So 180 degrees field of view is no joke. But you can see basically the entire little recording room I have here versus what you could see on the 20. A 16mm fisheye is not the same angle as a 16mm standard rectilinear lens. When I defish this one, with, you know, a standard defish Adobe profile, it's actually as wide as a 12mm standard lens. It's absolutely ridiculous. And if I use special defish software that uses an algorithm to extend the corners, it gets even wider, like 10, 9, 8mm, depending on the scene. It's absolutely insane. But, yeah. So that's what a 16mm fisheye looks like. As you can tell, I'm not going to use this for videos whatsoever, but I figured I'd like to show you. So without further ado, let's get started with the disassembly on this fisheye. By the way, I will be making a second video detailing the disassembly completely because I didn't see any guide for this lens online, and I wanted to essentially get a guide out there. So I will also be uploading that video shortly. Alright, so here we have the 16mm of 2.8. Let me remove that rear filter. These are actually really cool. I love these. They're difficult to use compared to a standard filter. You can't really switch them very easily. You have to take the lens off and all that, but I like them regardless. Now, like I said, there's no guide on this lens out there, so while this portion is going to be really short in this video, there will be a second video going up that is basically essentially just a guide. So let's get the mount removed. Like I said, there are no guides out there on this lens, so I'm going to be learning as I go. Now, first off, do not remove the two screws that are here. They are actually what hold the aperture system in. So, since I disassembled the 16mm f3.5, I know that to get to all those systems, you have to go from the front. These two lenses are very similar, so I shall get to that. Okay, and turning this inner element with the lens spanner was actually really easy because last night I put some acetone in the crease here so that it would loosen up any and all adhesive. Of course, it threads for a very long time. Here is our optical block. None of this requires cleaning on my lens, but of course you would add a mark here, unscrew this, and in here you would add marks, unscrew this if you needed to get into this larger element. And there is our hood here, and as you can see, once it focuses, there's a bunch of dirt in there. I'm going to get that nice and clean. So here we have the aperture mechanism I accidentally let loose earlier. So let's get this corrected. There we go. So now if you did something silly like I did, you have to actually set the aperture on something elevated so that you can then set this down on top of it. Now you know those two screws go to the aperture. Do not remove those unless you intend to remove the aperture. So here we have the main block, which is a little wonky. Now I'm starting to think I don't need to remove this silver retaining ring, so I'm actually just going to screw it back into place. And now I'm calling it a retaining ring because on a lot of AIS lenses, this actually holds some portion of the outer barrel of the lens on. This lens doesn't exactly have an outer barrel to speak of, so calling it a retaining ring doesn't really make sense because it doesn't retain anything. This is just the ring that you would grip when removing the lens or mounting it onto a camera. So, the inside of this is a little bit of a mess. That's odd, but the focus ring is already feeling much less dry. I'm assuming that is just a byproduct of not having a lot of mass to move. But now we will begin removing this fully. So I marked the interior of this aluminum helicoid left and right, and I marked the inside of the lens left and right. So now I can simply unscrew this, and here we have that helicoid. It's actually kind of disgusting. So you can see all the years of use that has turned some of the grease yellow, some of the dirt that's managed to get into there. So I'm going to be giving that a nice deep clean. There's a human hair or eyelash, ew. That's just stuff that gets in there in 40 years. I'm going to give this a nice deep clean, re-grease it with some of my preferred grease, and then I'm going to clean the interior of this, which is also rather frickin' nasty. And actually what it turns on is actually pretty loose and gross as well. So I'm going to see if I can remove, yep, that is all underneath the focus ring, and I'm not sure if I want to go that far for this, but it seems I might have to. So I'll be right back. So for anyone wondering how I'm going to clean these helicoids, just a shop paper towel, some lighter fluid, and simply going in one direction, getting them nice and shiny clean. That is disgusting because that's not just grease. If it were just grease, I wouldn't care, but it's also a ton of other crap that's in there. So let's fold that over again. More lighter fluid. I could also be using acetone, but lighter fluid works better for these little crevices, so I'll probably use acetone as a final surface cleaner. That's looking pretty good. Let's fold it one more time. Let's just get the edge here, and then run that down along all of this to get them all nice and clean. I will also probably use some Q-tips to just run along here and get absolutely everything, but I'm not going to subject you to watching that. You can certainly understand how to do that yourself after simply seeing this operation. Make sure you're always going in one direction, preferably down, so that you essentially move all the dirt and crap along the helicoid thread until it comes off at the bottom. Alright, so as usual, you can simply use a thin tool to remove the ring. Simply slide it under, move it around, and pop it off. And now, looking at this, it seems like this silver ring holds the top portion of the outer barrel to the bottom portion of the outer barrel, or focus ring, really. It's not really a barrel. And it's held on by these 3 screws. So it seems those screws also stop the focus mechanism, or at least I can get to what stops focus mechanism underneath them. So I guess I will mark these things and I will remove those. Alright, so I put a mark going through all 3 of them so I can line everything up absolutely perfectly. And now let's remove this. I'm assuming there's also some adhesive at work here. And yes, so this is actually the outer barrel. I'm glad I marked that because this is how you would adjust the focus with this whole system here. So I'm glad I made that mark. I would have absolutely no clue where that should be. And here we have the focus mechanism. So this is correct. I'm going to make a mark. There we go. So I've made a mark there, and I can now remove this helicoid. All right, that's mildly gross. I'm not sure if it translates. Yes, it does. This is very yellow. Not nice. And now let me see if I can actually show you, because I didn't before. Let me find where I made that mark. Here we are. Now this, I'm really not sure if it translates, but so let's get this all the way down. Can you see that movement? It's very slight, but that's because there's no grease in there. I'm not gonna lie, I'm very, very impressed at how simple this lens is. I'm actually going to set everything down, and I'm going to take a photo of all the components. This is a remarkably simple lens, nothing like the 16mm f3.5 I disassembled previously. Alright, so now you've seen all of that, I'm going to give the inside and outside threads of this a nice deep clean. I'm going to clean the threads within here, and then I will re-grease everything and get it all nice and perfect, and I will show you the results when I am done. Alright, and here we have the main body fully reassembled and perfectly damped. I absolutely love this. And next I just have to damp this and assemble it all back together. So I'm just gonna put some grease within there, run that thing through a couple times. All right, and here we are. I've got the main helicoid back in place, and now we just got to put our little guides back in, and then we'll be able to reassemble the lens in basically every other respect. Oh, what a perfect focus ring. I love it. All right, and now we can continue to reassemble. Okay, so I skipped ahead, and when you're reassembling this, just do what you did to disassemble it in reverse, as per usual. I was busy adjusting all of the elements in this lens individually, which is going to be a big pain in the butt, and it's probably going to take me another day or day and a half or so, because I do it with the stars, so I can check the infinity focus exactly, check the corner sharpness exactly, and this is going to take me a while. But those are the mechanics of the Nikon 16mm f2.8 AIS fisheye. I absolutely love this lens. I hope to adjust it to what I consider perfection, and Yeah, I'm sure it'll be a very long process before I can get everything perfect. Because these lenses, it seems that some of them have amazing corner sharpness, a very rare attribute of these, and some of them, most of them, have poor corner sharpness. So I'm going to individually adjust all these elements until I basically get the best overall sharpness possible. While I'm not entirely certain how much of that variance is due to the quality of the grinding on the elements and how much of it is adjustment and final tuning, I guess I'll find out. It's personal little journey, and I have no problem spending hours and hours on this lens because, I mean, I'll probably be keeping it forever. It's an awesome little lens, at least until Canon makes a new RF fisheye, and then I'll upgrade. Because I don't really feel any need to get the AF fisheye. I kind of like this really, really nice focus ring that I now have. So, thank you everybody for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you found it interesting. And apparently this is a couple weeks later because I forgot to record this outro. And I've been using my 16mm for a while now. You can see it's got a little bit of damage from a fall it took. Still performs amazing. And I did finish the sharpness adjustment. It's extremely easy, and the results are insane. I have to make a video on it. It's just such a massive difference, and it's such an easy adjustment to make. I need to get that out there. So, look forward to that video coming soon. It will be a genuinely short piece. It won't be another one of these, I've got a small video for you today, and here we are 17, 18 minutes later. I'm not good at being concise yet. It'll get better as I go. This is like my 6th video. Cut me some slack. But thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Subscribe if you want to see more content similar to this, and comment down below how I can improve, because again, I've just started. Bye.